Hey, welcome to the 15-Hour Accountant Podcast. I'm your host, Erica Goody. In this inaugural season of the podcast, we're leveraging AI to help us think through some of the key building blocks to building a hyper-lean accounting firm, working only the hours you want, making a six-figure income. Each episode is based on an original newsletter email written by me and shared with the good folks at the 15-Hour Accountant newsletter list. We then had our AI bot friends here talk us through it. You'll see that they actually do a shockingly good job at helping our brains process the information. Now don't worry, everything published here has been fully vetted and reviewed by my very human ears. Anything glaringly wrong or misleading has been removed, but we did leave in the AI glitches and nuances to laugh a little, keep it real, and feel better about our humanity. Let's dive in and see what our AI friends have to say about this topic.
Have you ever found yourself daydreaming at your desk? About having a career where you could ditch the daily grind, but still find a way to be successful. I mean, actually achieve that elusive work-life balance everyone's always going on about.
Mm-hmm.
I bet a lot of you listening have, especially in the accounting world, right?
Yeah.
Well, get ready to dive in because today we're breaking down how one CPA built a thriving firm, bringing in six figures, all while working only 15 hours a week.
Wow.
Yeah, you heard that right. Just 15 hours a week. We're taking a deep dive into The 15 HR Accountant, a book by Erica Good, CPA, to uncover how this is even possible.
He really is amazing what can be accomplished with a bit of ingenuity and some smart planning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, Erica's story starts out pretty familiar, I think. She's a former Big Four auditor who transitioned into a corporate role at Walgreens. And get this, she even negotiated for reduced hours when her kids were younger. Just trying to make it all work.
Yeah, finding that balance is something I think a lot of us can relate to.
For sure. And for Erica, that one seemingly small act of kindness actually ended up setting the stage for a completely different career trajectory.
Okay, so tell me more about this pivotal moment. It happened at her daughter's Taekwondo class, of all places.
You got it. She's at her daughter's Taekwondo class and, just strikes up a conversation with the instructor. And as they're talking, Erica casually mentions that she could help the instructor with, her business finances if she needed it. And, well, she had no idea that this simple offer would end up leading to a complete career shift.
What a right place, right time moment. But here's what I find so interesting. She didn't have this big, elaborate business plan already set, no prior experience running a business, let alone one that was entirely online. I mean, it's not like she was a business consultant or something in her past life.
Right. This part of her story is such a great example of how you don't always need to have everything perfectly planned out to get started. Sometimes the most effective approach is just saying yes to an opportunity and then, figuring things out along the way.
Yeah. It's about being open to new possibilities, even when they come from the most unexpected places, right?
Exactly. And that's exactly what Erica did.
Okay, but let's get down to the details here because I know everyone's wondering. Can you really make a good living with this 15-hour workweek model? What's the proof that this isn't just some fantasy?
Well, one of the things I really appreciate about Erica's book is how transparent she is. She's totally open about the numbers. She straight up shares her anticipated revenue range for 2024, which she estimates will be somewhere between $200,000 to $250,000. And remember, this is all while sticking to her 15-hour work week.
That's an income level that most people only dream of, let alone being able to achieve it on a reduced work schedule. But it's not all about revenue, right? Erica really emphasizes this idea of total owner benefit. Can you break down what exactly that means?
You're totally right. Total owner benefit, or TOB, is basically a financial metric she came up with to capture a broader view of her business's profitability.
Right.
So it takes into account more than just the money coming in. It also includes her overall financial well-being as a self-employed person. So to get her TOB, she adds up her profit, any salary she's taking from the business, her retirement contributions, and even the cost of her health insurance. This way, she gets a much clearer picture of her actual earnings compared to just looking at, profit margins alone. It's a really important concept, especially for anyone thinking about making the jump to self-employment.
It's about understanding the full financial picture and not just the top line revenue, right?
Exactly.
So she's definitely walking the walk and not just talking the talk. But how does she bring it all together? What's the secret ingredient?
Honestly, it's not magic, even though it might seem that way at first. Her success really comes down to three main things: a super strong focus on a specific niche, a really strategic approach to pricing that reflects the value she provides, and a very disciplined approach to how she manages her schedule.
Okay, so let's break down these elements. Let's start with her niche. Who exactly is Erica working with?
So Erica made a very deliberate decision to work specifically with consultants and small agency owners. It wasn't just by chance. It was a strategic move that's a big part of her success.
That seems a little counterintuitive, don't you think? Most people assume that having a broader target market would mean more potential clients.
Right, that's a common assumption, but niching down can actually be really powerful, especially when you're in a crowded marketplace. By choosing to position herself as a specialist who caters to the specific needs of consultants and small agency owners, Erica instantly sets herself apart.
So it's about becoming the go-to expert in a very specific area, which I'm guessing makes her incredibly valuable to those clients.
Exactly. But the advantages of niching down go way beyond just standing out. This niche lets her really dive deep into understanding her clients' businesses, their specific financial pain points. And that means she can actually speak their language and offer really tailored solutions.
So it's almost like she's not just an accountant, but a trusted advisor who gets the ins and outs of their world.
You got it. And because she's so focused in her expertise, she's been able to streamline all her processes. She's developed these standardized systems that are super efficient and save her a ton of time. It means no more starting from scratch for every new client.
That makes sense, especially when your goal is a 15-hour work week.
Right.
But here's another question. Doesn't narrowing down your target market limit your pool of potential clients? How does she ensure she's got a steady stream of clients with such a focused approach?
Well, that's where the beauty of niching down really comes in. By attracting the right clients, those who specifically value her expertise and are willing to pay a premium for it, Erica doesn't need to have a massive client list.
So it's about quality over quantity when it comes to her client base.
Exactly. And attracting those ideal clients is directly tied to her strategic pricing model, which we can talk about next.
Okay, let's talk pricing then, because you mentioned earlier these impressive revenue numbers.
Right.
She's not working with hundreds of clients to hit those figures, though, is she?
Not even close. Erica's pricing strategy is just as streamlined as her niche.
Okay.
She basically uses this tiered model with 3 distinct levels of service.
Okay.
Fractional CFO, mini CFO, and bookkeeping.
Got it.
Each one is set up to cater to different needs and budgets, which lets her offer a range of options, but she's still commanding these premium prices.
So it's kind of like choose your own adventure, but for accounting services tailored to what they need most.
Exactly. And her highest tier, the fractional CFO package, that's really a testament to the value she brings to the table.
Yeah, what's the damage on that one?
Clients at that level are paying a $5,000 monthly retainer.
Wow, okay, that's a serious investment. What does that get you? What does that level of service actually look like?
Well, think of it like having a highly skilled CFO on call, but without all the crazy overhead costs.
Right.
Erica essentially becomes a core part of their team, providing strategic financial guidance, do this in-depth analysis, and helping with proactive planning.
So she's not just crunching numbers. She's a trusted advisor helping them make those big picture financial decisions.
Exactly. But even at the lower tiers, which are the mini CFO at $1,400 per month, and then bookkeeping at $500 per month, she's still giving them significant value, going beyond just basic accounting tasks.
Okay.
Every tier includes those core services like month-end close, really detailed financial reporting using this platform called Fathom, and then unlimited email support.
Hold on. Let's talk about Fathom for a sec, because I'm not sure everyone listening is familiar with that specific platform. What makes it so special?
Oh, that's a good question. So Fathom is a cloud-based software that's basically taking financial reporting to a whole new level. It goes way beyond those static spreadsheets. It provides these interactive dashboards, really insightful visualizations, and all the key performance indicators that any business owner would need to actually understand their financial health in a much more comprehensive way. Erica is a huge advocate for using technology like this to make all her processes more efficient and to give her clients really clear, actionable financial insights. And Fathom is a core part of that.
Yeah, it's about empowering her clients to actually use the information to make informed decisions.
Exactly. And that unlimited email support she offers at every tier, it just further shows how committed she is to being available and responsive to her clients' needs. It gives them that peace of mind knowing they can easily reach out with questions or concerns anytime.
So it's about building those relationships and truly acting as a partner in their success.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about what she offers, but what about what she doesn't offer?
Mhm.
Because I know she's really strategic about setting boundaries around the services she provides.
Oh, absolutely. And she's very upfront about what those are. So, for example, she doesn't do tax preparation, although she's happy to work with a client's existing tax person or even help them find one who's, a good fit for their needs.
Right.
That laser focus really lets her stay in her zone of genius,
Mm.
specializing in the areas where she truly shines and provides the most value.
That's smart, especially when you're aiming for that work-life balance.
Right.
So, with all that said, the big question is, how does she actually fit this level of service and expertise into a 15-hour work week?
Yeah.
Because it almost sounds too good to be true.
I promise you, it's not magic. It all boils down to being really intentional with her time, having incredible discipline, and understanding exactly how she works best.
Okay.
So Erica sticks to a very set schedule week after week.
Okay.
She works Monday and Tuesday from 9:00 p.m., takes Wednesdays completely off, and then it's back to work Thursday from 9:00 a.m. to 3:00 p.m., and then she takes Fridays off as well.
Okay, so AI kind of missed the boat on that one. Just to clarify, I work Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. On those days, I work from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and I take an hour lunch within there. And so if you add up those 3 days, it's 5 hours each. I get to my 15 hours, and then I don't work Wednesdays or Fridays.
2 days off during the week and a 3-day weekend. That sounds amazing. But how does she, fight the urge to blur those lines when, let's be real, client requests inevitably pop up outside of those hours?
That's a good question. Well, that's where her discipline really comes into play. She is incredibly protective of her time. She treats her schedule like it's sacred. And this is the part that might surprise some people. Erica is a huge, huge advocate for tracking her time meticulously. I mean, down to the minute.
I have to admit, as someone who does not love a strict schedule, the idea of tracking my time that closely honestly kind of stresses me out. So why is that so crucial for her? Why is it so essential to her process?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So for Erica, it's not about micromanaging or putting unnecessary pressure on herself. It's really about using data to work smarter, not harder.
Right.
By really understanding where her time is going, she can identify any bottlenecks, streamline her processes, and then make smart decisions about what to delegate or what can be automated.
It's about being intentional with every single minute of her day.
So it's less about restriction and more about optimization.
Exactly. It's all about making those 15 hours really count and making sure she's using her time on the tasks that truly move the needle for her business and for her clients, ultimately.
Right.
It's really a data-driven approach to productivity, and it's clearly working really well for her.
I love this. This whole concept is so fascinating. It really challenges that traditional idea of what it means to be successful, especially in a field that's as demanding as accounting.
For sure. And I think it speaks to her broader philosophy of being intentional with her time and energy and finding that true sense of balance, which, even extends to her marketing efforts.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's talk about her marketing strategy because I am curious to hear how she gets the word out, especially with a business model that, as you said, relies so heavily on referrals.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. So Erica, she doesn't spend thousands of dollars on these big, flashy advertising campaigns or, chase after all the latest social media trends.
Right. Her whole approach is about building genuine relationships and just creating really valuable content that her target audience really connects with.
In a world that's so full of noise and self-promotion, that's incredibly refreshing to hear.
It really is.
Mhm.
She understands that building trust and establishing herself as the expert is way more effective than any sort of quick fix or salesy tactic.
So how does that translate to what she's actually doing? What are her go-to marketing activities? What does she actually do to make those connections and, get her name out there?
So she leverages two main channels, her monthly newsletter and then her biweekly podcast, which is called Consultants and Money.
Okay.
Her newsletter is fantastic. It's full of super valuable insights covering everything from, practical accounting tips to financial planning advice to even just broader business growth strategies.
Sure.
It's a way for her to share her expertise, stay top of mind with her audience, and just cultivate those relationships further.
Okay, they're being cute. I didn't tell them to say how fantastic that newsletter is. I just think they're taking some AI liberty there, but it does include everything that they did mention.
It's about adding value beyond just being a number cruncher, right?
Exactly. And then with her podcast, that actually serves a dual purpose.
Okay.
On one hand, it's this awesome platform for her to really showcase her knowledge and expertise to a wider audience,
Mm.
which just further solidifies her as like an authority in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other hand, it also acts as a filter in a way. It attracts the right clients, the ones who align with her, and it kind of gently weeds out those who might not be such a good fit.
Oh, I love that. So by sharing her personality, her values, and just her general approach through her podcast, she's essentially weeding out the people who aren't a good fit before they even reach out, right?
Exactly. It's all about attracting clients who resonate with her style, her work ethic, and just her overall approach to business. And you know what? It works. The majority of her clients actually come from referrals, where they found her through her podcast or her newsletter.
That's amazing. So good old-fashioned word of mouth and authentic content are still the most effective marketing strategies, even in today's crazy digital world.
Absolutely. When you consistently deliver that exceptional service, build that trust, and share your expertise generously, people are going to talk, and they're going to share your name with others.
It's true.
Erica's story is proof that thinking long-term and making genuine connections really does pay off.
It's about building something that's sustainable and something that aligns with your values and attracts clients who believe in that vision.
Right.
Speaking of building a business, her path to get where she is today, it wasn't an overnight success story, was it?
Right.
It took her several years to build her firm up to what it is today, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There's this misconception that success always happens overnight, but Erica's story is a perfect example of how much hard work and dedication goes on behind the scenes before you really hit that stride.
Yeah.
When she first launched her firm back in 2018, it was a one-woman show, just a single client, and a 2-hour work week.
2 hours a week.
Oh, yeah.
Was she like squeezing in client work between loads of laundry or something? How is that even possible?
I know. It sounds wild, right?
Yeah.
But she was dealing with some pretty significant constraints back then. Her kids were young, and she had made this commitment to only work when they were at school.
Right.
And those early limitations, they actually ended up forcing her to get creative, and they became the catalyst for her developing those efficient systems and strategies she uses today.
So she turned those limitations, those constraints, into a competitive advantage, which forced her to be laser focused and strategic right from the start.
Exactly. She couldn't afford to waste any time on tasks that weren't directly impacting her bottom line.
Yeah.
Which really pushed her to optimize those processes and maximize her productivity in those few precious hours that she had.
I love that. It's a reminder that sometimes those limitations can actually spark creativity and lead to some seriously innovative solutions.
Totally.
So walk me through her growth, like her trajectory.
Okay.
How did she go from those early days of, 2-hour work weeks to running a thriving 6-figure firm?
It was a gradual climb, but it was definitely intentional. So each year, she would strategically take on a few more clients. She would expand the services that she offered based on, the needs that she saw popping up.
Mm-hmm.
And she was constantly fine-tuning her processes as she went along. She was always learning and adapting and just getting better all the time.
So it sounds like she was really intentional about scaling her business at a pace that felt manageable, especially with a young family.
For sure. She wasn't interested in that explosive grow at all costs mentality, especially not at the expense of her personal life. It was all about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Building a successful business, but also honoring the commitments she had made to her family.
Right.
And that's a huge part of what makes her story so relatable and so inspiring.
Yeah, it's so great to hear about someone, especially an entrepreneur, really putting that focus on work-life balance right from the beginning.
Absolutely. And that focus on balance is woven throughout her entire journey. So in 2021, she made this really significant investment in herself and her business, hiring a business coach. She niched down her target market even further, and then launched her website and her email list.
Okay, so those are some pretty big steps. It sounds like she was setting the stage for some serious growth.
Exactly. That year was a huge turning point for her business. And then the year after that, she launched her podcast, which really helps get her name out there even more, amplified her expertise, and just attracted more of those perfect fit clients.
And then by 2023, just a couple years later, she had actually reached her capacity and even had to start a wait list.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's amazing. But here's what I find so inspiring about all of this. She's very open about the fact that it took 6 years.
Right.
6 years to build this six-figure firm.
It's a journey.
6 years in a world where everyone is obsessed with these overnight success stories and get-rich-quick schemes. Her story is such a breath of fresh air.
I know, it's so true. It's this powerful reminder that building a sustainable, profitable business, it takes time. It takes patience and it takes consistent effort. There's no magic formula or secret shortcut.
Yeah.
It's just about showing up every day, being consistent, providing that incredible client service, and staying true to the vision that you set for yourself.
It's about playing the long game, right? Focusing on building something that's really meaningful instead of chasing those quick wins.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Erica's story is the perfect embodiment of that. She could have easily just stayed on that traditional accounting path,
Yeah.
working those long hours,
Yeah.
trying to climb that corporate ladder.
Mm-hmm.
But she made a choice to create something different, something that was aligned with her values and that gave her the freedom and flexibility that she craved.
And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting, I think. It's not just about, the nuts and bolts of how to run an accounting firm. It's bigger than that. It's about challenging the status quo, It's about designing a career that actually lights you up, one that aligns with your values and your big picture goals.
For sure. It's about recognizing that you have the power to decide what success means for you. You don't have to follow some predetermined path. You can create your own, just like Erica did.
So as we wrap up this deep dive today, I want to leave you with one final thought. If you could design your ideal workday, what would that look like? What kind of work would you be doing? Who would you be collaborating with? And most importantly, what's one small step, even a tiny one, that you can take today to start moving in that direction?
And remember, you don't need to have all the answers right now. You definitely don't need to make any drastic changes overnight. Just start with that one small step, that one action that feels aligned with where you want to be, and see where it leads. You might be surprised by what you can achieve when you give yourself permission to go after your own version of success.
It's all about taking that first step and then another and another, trusting the journey, even when you can't see the destination just yet.
I love that.
Well, there you have it. Another deep dive, uncovering the secrets and strategies behind building a successful business without sacrificing your life outside of work. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into all the things that light that fire in your belly.
Hey, it's Very Human Erica again. I hope that helped you think through that topic a little more. If you want to hop on the 15-hour accountant newsletter that these episodes are based on, come hang out with us. Or check out my free ebook, The 15-Hour Accountant, Anatomy of a $200,000, one-employee, 15-hour per week accounting firm, where I pull back the curtain and show you the inner workings of my own firm. I'll leave a link to both the newsletter and the ebook in the show notes. Until next time.